William says, Michael, hoping your family had a great holiday. Thank you, William. We did. You said you have some questions regarding the market sentiment indicator. And the first question is, what does SPX gap over SMA 20 mean? Okay. Oh, I got to show you a new tool now, too, if you guys haven't seen it. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about the market sentiment tool that gives us the 13 indicators of buy and sells based on the fences that are set, that we've tested over time. And we went back in time a couple of weeks and a couple of months to show you the last time that a sell warning was triggered, last time there was a market pull, what did the trade simulator show? And when last time there was a buy, what did the trade simulator show? I think he made it live. He didn't. Oh, no, he did. So now when you click on the overall sentiment history, you get this neat little graph here. Okay. What is this showing you? This is showing you SPY in blue. Okay. And what you're seeing here is when the indicators change. So the last big drop we had, of course, in February, we went into the bearish sell mode and almost the strong sell mode about 15 days before the decline. And then, of course, you had your buy indicators. And then right now we're going back into the sell warnings because we're back to that point again, the V-shaped quote unquote recovery as well. But what this also shows you, of course, was the strong buy started to trigger after this decline. And yeah, that was pretty accurate. It was a good move from there to there. And then you see the warnings came out before the next fall, and the warnings came out before the next little fall, and then the strong buys came in as well. Okay, so this is just a graph to help you sort of view this as bit. Now, as I mentioned, there are 13 broad-based indicators that are used, called volume ratio, SPX number of days up, the SPX gap over the SMA 20. This is your first question, William. To do this, though, let me go back. Oh, I didn't want to go to chain. I should have gone to quotes. It's okay. It's all right. Perfect. Not perfect. 1 second, folks. I got to redo big charts, and I could walk through this as I'm doing it, but we've got a webinar on that already. I might have to come back and add something else into this as well. No problem. All right, so let me draw my chart. I want to make it's good, but we need it bigger, folks, don't we? We need it much bigger. I'll go large. Large is usually pretty good. Ernie prefers the big size there. There we go. Okay, so question number 1. What does the SPX gap over the SMA 20 mean? Well, I've included the 20-day moving average. This is the gap. How far is the stock percentage-wise above the 20-day moving average? Okay. So that's the answer. That anytime you see a gap, that is referring to. Here's the MACD gap. So this would have been a large negative MACD gap. This would have been a large positive MACD gap. Right now, I think we just went into a negative MACD gap potentially. It's hard to see there. Let's go to 1 month in that case. So whenever you see a gap, it's talking about the percentage above that indicator. This is the SMA 20 to where the current stock price is. It's that movement, that gap, that size. Okay. So that's number 1, William. An explanation of that. I had promised you guys last 2 weeks ago that I was going to do a video again on the market sentiment tool. The reason I haven't put it out yet, yeah, the MACD is starting to go negative. The reason I haven't put it out yet is because we just added that new little graph to compare it to. Okay. Question 2, what determines the bullish and bearish levels for SPX RSI, and is the RSI a 14-day parameter? It is. We're just looking at the relative strength index of SPX, okay? And bullish or bearish are based on the historical trends. This is how Ernie set the fences. When you go into the details, you can see at the last, market ranges what they were, where it currently is right now. Bearish when the value is above 70 on the RSI, bullish when the value is below 30. That's not just common numbers, and a lot of people like to use 80 and 20. What Ernie did with his testing is when he started using these various indicators, and he might have used up to 40 at one time and narrowed it down to the 13 that really gave a strong reflection of what happened in the market. What he's looking at here is the histogram of the performance, meaning that when the RSI gets up to 70 or 80, a large percentage of the time, it very rarely goes higher. It has to go back. It tends to go back after it hits these lines, okay? After it hits its fences. And down here was the other fence. So very rarely, if the RSI hits 30, does it continue down into the 20 and 10 ranges, meaning it's going to have to go back. So that's why it would be a bullish indicator. And this is why it's in a bearish. It's going to start reverting back. The relative strength is, in theory, going to start reverting back to where it was based on those multiple years of testing in that case. What does SPX gap over the MACD mean? We just discussed that. I hope that was clear to you in that case. So just looking at the MACD lines, what is the gap, positive or negative? It's not related to the stock price. It's related to the MACD versus the signal line. Right? Not the divergence line, but the signal line. So the MACD, of course, is the 1226 versus the EMA. So here you see a large percentage gap. And usually when you see a large percentage gap, you expect a correction. When you see a large negative percentage gap, you expect to see a correction. Okay, that's what it's looking at in that case. That's what it means. All right, so okay, at what level does the sentiment indicator have to be at for a bearish sell and a bullish buy? Off the top of my head, I don't know. I think the next step that was supposed to is going to be done. Excuse me, I don't want to say supposed to be done. It wasn't that at all. But on this view, oh buddy, on this view, it's I want to say it's sell warning triggers at 4 bearish and no bullish, or maybe just 1 bullish. This is usually 5 bearish sell. Very bearish sell is 7, or it's 8, I think, of the 13. 8, 5, and 0, or 8, and no bearish ones in there. And that was last triggered 1-1 after 1-1-18. Where was that? Yeah, that was right before February 5th to 9th. We showed that in a webinar before. And then, of course, the signals here, very bullish buy. In that case, bullish buy, a very bullish buy, an extreme bullish buy, I think is the top one. I think it's actually called extreme bullish buy, not very bullish buy twice, but I'll check into that. And again, same sort of numbers. The light buy occurs if you're at, I think, 3 or maybe 4 bullish. Bullish buy, 6. Very bullish buy is 7 and above for bullish indicators, I believe. But that was supposed to be, that will be updated on this view in the market sentiment tool. Is there an extremely bearish sell? Yeah, the very bearish sell is the deepest one that we have. And are the results of the markets indicator only shown at the end of the trading day, or they change throughout the day? Only at the end of day, William. We only update at the end of day. It's not shown during the day. In European, how accurate is the market sentiment indicator showing market tops and bottoms, specifically the market crash in February 2020? I'm good with that, even though it was 15 days later. I was fine with this. I prepared for this, by the way, because of these sell warnings that came through. I'm kind of preparing for it a little bit now as well. Go back further in time. February 5th, this came out January 27th or 28th. That helped me prepare for this with VIX calls. The VIX calls I bought completely countered the loss I took on my bull puts that I just mentioned. The 3 spreads I had opened, that was countered by the gain in VIX calls. So this gives you an idea. Is it 100% accurate? Maybe. Is it a direct and it's going to be lagging or not lagging? Not all the time. This is more of a lag that we've seen. I would have expected originally this to happen about 10 days, 8 days before it did when I started seeing these. I'm expecting this. We've seen 2 of these. I'm expecting this to start doing something. I just don't know when. It could be 5 days from now. It could be sooner. It could be 20 days from now. But it's hard to gauge in that case. Okay, but that's what I'm looking for. I trust it. This shows you sort of what to expect and how it has performed over this time.